Hello, boss. I'm back again. The thing is, I came back to the family house because I think you have a question about the $25,000 PenFed personal line of credit. And, I came back because I feel like I need to explain things to you, clarify a lot of things. And today's conversation, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about 6 approval hacks for relatively new members. So if you're a new member in PenFed, in other words, you've been around for 3 years or less, you want to listen to this conversation because you're going to learn a lot of gems from it, okay? Don't you go anywhere. You're going to love to this conversation, I guarantee you. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Certificate Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great and blessed as I am, go grab a cup of coffee, or tea, or vodka, and let's roll into this conversation because I want to talk to you about the 25,000 per PenFed personal line of credit, and I really want to talk about 6 approval hacks for relatively new members, okay? So if you are in that category, let's say you've been in PenFed for less than 3 years, you are considered officially a relatively new member, okay? And the thing is, I want to talk to you first about the PenFed personal line of credit. Let's have a conversation about that. See, the thing is, this is the kind of cash that you need. You can apply for this cash when we need money for, let's say, an emergency. You have an emergency expense, for example, if something happened in the family, we have a birth, we have a death in the family, whatever, or you have to renovate your house. So you really don't plan. The good thing about the PenFed personal line of credit is that the cash is there for you. Let's say you get approved for 25,000 or 20 grand or 15 grand, right? The cash sits there and you are not obligated to pay anything back because you haven't used it. But once you use it, then you have to actually think about paying it back. So it's very important to actually plan your financial life accordingly, right? And one thing you need to know is that you need to actually open a PenFed account, okay? You got to have a checking account, and in some cases, you need to have a savings account to actually tap into the line of credit. So I'm just giving you the nitty-gritty of this PenFed line of credit. It's very important because it's very important also that you need to understand that the fixed rate on this line of credit, it starts at 5.99%. So that's really the APR here. So 5.99%, that's the basic here. And the credit line's maximum $25,000, okay? And the cool thing is you can actually access the line of credit online, or you can request free checks to access your line, okay? So I just wanted to give you the foundational analysis before we get into the nitty gritty. Before I speak about the 6 hacks, you need to have a clear understanding, okay? And one thing I want to tell you here is that you can actually apply for this line of credit at a branch or over the phone, even online in some cases, but we actually recommend that you actually go to a branch if possible. Let me first talk to you about the first hack. It's kind of important to understand that you need to have a clear check systems record. The funny thing is, a lot of people, when they think about applying for a line of credit, especially the PenFed line of credit, they forget about check systems. They think about FICO Score, right? They think about, I'm going to have a DTI, I'm going to have a low DTI, a low CUR, but that's kind of cool. But see, the reason why your ass sometimes get denied is because you've forgotten about the other part of the equation here, okay? The credit equation. There is a credit equation, and you have a FICO and you have check system, because those banks that you're talking about, those credit unions that you're applying for a line of credit at, they are checking both records, okay? So make sure you have a clean check systems record. Now, what is that? What I'm trying to tell you, sister, grandpa, grandfather, I want everybody to be around and just listen to this. You need to actually make a decision today and say, you know what? I'm tired of all those overdrafts, those non-sufficient funds, those bouncing checks, whatever. If you don't have cash in your account, don't write a check. Okay, so to apply for the $25,000 PenFed personal line of credit, you need to maintain a clean check system record. I'm talking about really something very clean. And you have to understand, check systems works in a very easy way. In other words, when you apply for a new checking account, when you apply for a savings account, when you are actually when you're applying for anything that is deposit related, they check your credit, your check system record. But the problem is, PenFed and other credit unions also check this database when they are about to lend you, when they're about to extend credit to you. Okay, so everything about check account openings, check writing history is recorded in check system. That's why, cause I'm talking to you that you have to pay attention when you actually when you open a bank account. Okay, because when you are listed in check systems, it becomes very complicated for you. Oh yeah. You're going to go around and asking bank after bank after bank, I want to open a bank account, and they'll tell you, listen, we can't open an account for you. So you have to actually pay attention to that. Okay, pay attention to that. The second hack I want to talk to you about in terms of getting this $25,000 PenFed personal line of credit is direct deposit. The thing is, you're probably working right now, right? You started working, what, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago? That's fantastic. So why don't you just sign up? You have to set up direct deposit with PenFed? Because the thing here is that if you are trying to get a line of credit from them, they need to see some money coming in. It's all about a mutually beneficial relationship, right? So you need to set that up. I don't care. Listen, you got to stop going to cash your check out. Nobody does that. If you are trying to be financially responsible, I want you right now to make a decision to actually partially or totally transfer some of your direct deposit to have your checks, your pay directly deposited into a PenFed account, and preferably into a PenFed Access America account. Okay, those are things we have, because the thing is, I'm tired of having your ass denied all the time. And the thing is, if you're not showing PenFed that you have income coming in, they cannot grant you the line of credit or the loan that you need. Okay, it has to be mutually beneficial. Cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So direct deposit has a lot of benefits for employees, if you really think about it, because you don't have to go somewhere to cash your checks. Think about it. You don't have to be in the office to get paid. In other words, if you're somewhere in Acapulco or Bali, you're getting paid anyway. Okay, and you're laughing all the way to the bank. You don't need to worry about asking to reissue lost or stolen checks, which could be a problem if your identity has been stolen. Right? You can control where your money goes, because what I'm trying to tell you here is that, let's say you are thinking about having a direct deposit into PenFed. Hey, listen, I can say, I'm probably going to direct 50% of my cash or my paycheck into PenFed, and I'm probably going to put the 20% in Navy Fed, 10% in Chase, 5% elsewhere. That's what I'm talking about. You are being smart here. Okay. In other words, you are distributing your paycheck into different bank accounts that have different goals. That's the goal, boss. That's the goal. So the thing here is that you need to think about, what? I need to show something to PenFed so that they are actually in a position where they can actually approve me, right? If you're asking for $25,000 in PenFed line of credit, you better really accumulate some savings there too. I'm not saying you have to accumulate 25 grand in the PenFed account, but you need to show something, okay? So you need to think about the split to save option for direct deposit, whereby you actually split your pay into several accounts. Let me talk to you about your PenFed banking. Boss, are you there? This is a family conversation. We need to, I'm putting everything on the table. You might not like certain things I'm saying to you, but listen, I'm giving it to you straight, all right? We need to forget about all the politically correct conversations, whatever. Listen, you need to establish a PenFed banking relationship. Oh yeah. If you are trying to get the $25,000 PenFed personal line of credit, you need to be in a strong position. And what I mean by that is, you need to have a strong, mutually beneficial relationship. We call it the multi-product relationship. Okay, so you want to consider increasing the accounts you currently have with PenFed. I told you earlier, right? I mean, you walk around and tell everybody, I'm a member of PenFed. Okay, what kind of member are you? Let's talk about that. People walk around the neighborhood and telling everybody at family reunions or at a party, they just boast their membership. Yeah, I'm a PenFed member. Okay, you're a PenFed member. What kind of member are you? Are you a cheap ass member or are you a real member? A real member is someone who has multiple accounts. I'm talking about deposit accounts. I don't care what you put in those accounts, but you got to have them. Even if you put $5 every week, $1 every week, it all counts. It all counts. Everything counts, boss. I want you to wake up right now and start thinking about that. Okay, you need to actually consider the account that you currently have, and at a minimum, you want to have a checking account and a savings account. That's what I'm talking about. See, now you are becoming smart. You are becoming a planner, a strategist. That's what we call, if you become a credit strategist, then you take actually the reins of your credit. That's important. Also, think about certificates. Yeah, do you have $100 or $25 every pay period? Well, put them in those certificates of deposit, those CDs, and just let the money there grow. Okay, and think about IRAs also. Yeah, individual retirement accounts. That's actually going to make sure that when you turn 60 or 70, you could chill. You could play golf or whatever you want to do. You can go to Vegas, whatever. You can dance all night long and not actually ending up at a hospital trying to find out if Medicare or Medicaid is covering you. No, you have a financial future. Okay, think about also being part of the Honors Advantage program. This is an important program at PenFed that allows you actually to have benefits on your credit cards. But the cool thing is it puts you in another category when it comes to PenFed reviewing your application for the 25,000 personal line of credit. Let's talk about your next gen score. This might sound like a foreign language to you, but the funny thing is that Navy Fed has their internal score, right? But so does PenFed. Now, they don't publish it too much. They don't talk about it, unlike Navy Fed. But the PenFed, the cool thing is that PenFed Next Gen Internal Score is analogous. It is similar to the FICO Score. So it goes from 300 to 850, okay? And the thing is, you have to be in a position, and I'm talking to your grandpa, talking to your grandma. I really want you to make a decision right now to actually raise your next gen score. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you have to stop drinking wine on Friday night. I don't care if you have to stop going to McDonald's once a week, whatever. I don't care. You have to live within your means and find the cash to actually raise your next gen score. That's what I'm really talking about. Okay, raise your PenFed next gen internal score. Now, that score, that metric, is a compilation. It is an offspring of many elements, of many things. It is a result of many elements. For example, it takes into account the total ratio of new credit accounts opened in the last 18 months to total outstanding credit accounts. So for example, if you have, let's say you have 5 credit accounts, you have 5 credit cards, and you open 3 in the last year and a half, that's too much. In other words, PenFed is looking at you and thinking, this person is really, he or she needs money. That's why, he or she just opening credit cards like crazy, and you don't want that. Okay. Next Gen Internal Score also takes into account recent credit inquiries. Okay. It takes into account your credit utilization ratio. We're talking about your CUR. This is very important, which is actually the amount you spend relative to the limit that you have. Your DTI ratio, I've talked about that. That's very important also. Those are metrics you want to keep below 30% or 35%. Okay. Because listen, I don't care how you do it, but you have to do it. We have to be in a position where we start making conversation about, hey, listen, I'm currently sitting at 300 or 400 or 500 FICO score, and I've been sitting there for 10 years. What's up with that? What is up with that? Let's just have a conversation, because the thing is that you can't be at 300 forever. Come on, be ambitious. Be ambitious. All right. So if you want to actually go up the ladder, you're probably in the basement right now in terms of FICO score, and you want to go to the first floor or second floor or third floor. You want to be in the 800, you want to be in the 700, you want to be in the 600 band. You need to start thinking about your credit utilization ratio, your DTI ratio, and the length of your credit history. Very important. I'll be right back, but after this, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. Because I'm still talking to you. I know you probably don't want to listen to me. I mean, the last time I called you, you never returned my call. So I'm just calling you. I'm just saying everything. I'm just spilling the beans in front of the whole family. And we have to talk about these things, okay? You want to get the $25,000 PenFed personal line of credit. Okay, that's an ambitious goal, okay? One thing I want you to do is that in addition to your next gen score, I want you to pay attention to your FICO score. And I'm not asking you just to look at your FICO score like you are just checking, let's say an email every month or whatever, or a spam email or whatever. You have to check your FICO score for real. And you have to do this methodically. I'm talking about having a plan. You need to have a plan to say, you know what? This FICO score, I'm currently at 625. My goal is to go to 725 in 6 months, not 3 months, not 1 month. Because sometimes you see clickbait YouTube videos telling you, I'm gonna show you how to raise your FICO score about 100 points in 30 days. This is just crazy. It's funny. People can believe anything that when they want to believe things, it's like I want to lose 30 pounds in one day, by the way, But funny thing is, your FICO score, if you want to raise your FICO score, you have to actually first know what your FICO score is. You got to have a clear idea what your FICO score is, right? You need to know, listen, I am at 625. Okay, January 31st, I'm at 625. Okay, by April 31st, I want to be at 650 or I want to be at 675. It has to be a methodical. It has to be a very deliberate strategy, okay? And when you do that, you have to think about, after checking your credit score, you need to consistently and reflexively make on-time payments, okay? Trying to keep your CUR, I spoke about that before, your credit utilization ratio below 30%, below 35%. We want to get into that zone, right? Trying to consolidate your current debts. You're probably paying a lot of interest to a lender, whatever. Consolidate. Report your monthly bills to a credit bureau. I mean, I'm talking about your rent, your utilities. There are a lot of services that offer that ability for you to actually report your rent to credit bureaus. And avoid closing old accounts. Please do not close old accounts. I've said this before. Do not close old accounts, and don't have too many hard credit inquiries. The last hack I want to talk to you about, and this is really important, if you are trying to get the $25,000 PenFed personal line of credit, you really want to think about your PenFed debt. You have to understand, PenFed is looking at you and they're thinking, listen, this person is too risky. We have extended too much credit to him or her, right? So you get into a position where you realize, hey, listen, this is just it's very hard for us. So you gotta really control, you gotta monitor your PenFed debt. You want to keep that debt low. And by debt, I'm talking about your credit cards. How many credit cards do you have? Cause niece, I'm talking to you. Son, I'm talking to you. What is your PenFed debt right now? I mean, we gotta have a clear idea where you at. Do you have multiple credit cards, multiple lines of credit? Whatever you have, you need to bring it down. So when we talk about personal debt from a PenFed perspective, we are speaking about credit cards, personal loans, right? Personal lines of credit. If you already have a line of credit that is currently ongoing and you are thinking about getting another one, or you're thinking about extending the current one that you have, this will be considered PenFed debts. Auto loans are also considered debts, right? Car loans, mortgages, and VA loans. My point here is that when you think about your PenFed debt, there is a strong correlation between your PenFed debt and your assets. If you remember earlier, I was talking to you about PenFed banking, right? And in that expose, I was talking to you about the importance of having deposit accounts. So that's actually the positive side of the net worth equation, right? So net worth equals what? Total assets minus total liabilities. Okay. So when you have deposit accounts, those constitute your assets. We're speaking about checking accounts, savings accounts, CDs, MMAs, money market accounts, right? IRAs, because the money in those accounts is yours. This ain't PenFed's. Now let's look at the second part of the equation. That's your debts. So whatever debts you have, either debts that you contracted with the PenFed or another lender, you need to bring it down. But in this particular case, if you're trying to have the $25,000 personal line of credit from PenFed, you definitely want to bring your PenFed debt down by a substantial margin. Very, very important. Thank you so much, cuz I really appreciate that you were sitting here at the family table, at dinner table, and having this conversation with me about the $25,000 PenFed personal line of credit. And I share with you 6 hacks that you need to implement today to actually start making sure that you get approved, okay? And I give you an overview about the line of credit itself. And I spoke to you about check systems, direct deposits, PenFed banking, next-gen score, FICO score, and your PenFed debt. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will speak to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.